Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. It is Wednesday, the 28th of February, 2024, and it's wonderful to have you in company for another Morning Barbados presentation. I'm Tisha Hines, along with the entire CBC cast. We are grateful to have you get up and join us this morning from the Standard Showroom in Wildey, where we're coming to you live on this beautiful day. Still a little dark in the grand scheme of things, but as the sunshine comes all the way up, you're going to get to see a little bit of what's happening on the outside in the streets and roads all around this particular area. And of course, we urge you to come on down if you can. They get open around 9 o'clock in the morning, so you have ample time to look around and see what is happening here. And speaking about what's happening, we have a grand show planned for you today. I'm hoping that you can stick around if you have to head out to work or school. That's A-OK. Remember, we stream live online, so you can find us on YouTube and Instagram and wherever you want to go online. We're there, so you can go back and watch on demand as you want to. Today, we're having a big conversation with the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados. June Price Humphrey is going to be in for that. We're also going to have President Nicholas Roberts coming through to share with us as well, coming off the heels of a fantastic and very successful event this weekend. They had a mix and mingle over at Wine World in Warrens. We were there, and we got a chance to meet with a lot of the wonderful people they work along with. So we're going to share more about that with you. Also coming up today, the upcoming launch of Coastal Hazards and Earthquake Smart Month. Simon Allen, Program Officer with the DEM, will be in to tell us more about that, because we need to be far more aware of what the potentials are for our environment, and of course set plans in place so that we are ready for any eventuality. Very, very important when it comes to natural hazards. Plus, Be Awesome, the event, is coming up for International Women's Day. Dr. Sherry Ann Dixon, International Multi-Award Transformational Coach, Lecturer, and Public Speaker, is going to be in, along with Alison Brown Ellis, a name that you are going to hear a lot more about, and you've been hearing a lot about. She's corporate executive, a professional mentor, a motivational speaker of the year for 2022, founder of Boss Ladies United, and she's also an author. She'll be in to share with us. So we're going to tell you all about that event. It's simply called Be Awesome! So I'm sure you know what you can expect with that. We're going to have a really great feature with another spoken word artist coming up today as we continue our Poetry series. Poetry, T-R-E-E. Yeah, we absolutely want to continue to share all the wonderful talents of the young people and some of the older ones who love spoken word and are a part of that. But first of all, we are celebrating with the wonderful folk at the University of the West Indies. And in these times where there's so much of a stress on technology, and everybody is talking about STEM and how important AI is to the world, it's important that we also take in what's happening here in Barbados and look at how we are shaping the minds of our people to be globally competitive. So for that reason, we are celebrating along with the Faculty of Science and Technology as they celebrate their week. And today, joining me is Nadine Bengraves. She's Operations Manager with CCAS. Now, CCAS stands for the Center for Commercial Analytical Services, and it's a new center which leverages expertise, instrumentation, and infrastructure to provide advanced analytical and testing services in such areas as the environment, alternative energy, agriculture, the food and manufacturing sectors, and more. So we're going to get Mrs. Ben Grace to tell us a whole lot more about that. Good morning, and welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, and good morning, Barbados.
All right, first of all, tell us what all of that means. And I read it the way I did for a reason, because it is quite a mouthful. But in real terms, for the average person, what does that translate to doing?
Okay, well, for CCAS, what we do is offer services to clients, whether on-site or off-site, in terms of testing, consultation, analytical services. We also offer assessments, audits. We also offer training as well too, in addition to the testing that we do at the center. Now, the good thing about it is that for those who are very busy day to day and don't have the time to do the testing on their own, or don't even have the personnel, we can come into your facility and actually do the testing for you, or you can actually send the samples to us and we do the testing. There might be some companies who have problems troubleshooting. There might be a problem in the company and they need assistance, so we can help them. We also offer the service of helping clients who want to go to exportation level, where we come in and do assessments, we do audits, so that we can get them ready for that particular stage. And then apart from that, any other things relating to food, agriculture, pharmaceutical, chemistry, science, we have the experts at the UWA in the Faculty of Science and Technology, where we can actually help them in the different areas.
All right, so, you know, she set it out in a way where we practically understand exactly what you do. Talk to me about the courses, how you go about training the students. Do they line up with exactly what you do? Or, you know, is there some scope a little outside of that in terms of the training?
Okay, the good thing about the training that we offer, currently we're offering short courses, so not specifically targeted to the students at the university, but to the layman person, the farmer, the average person in the industry, where they can actually do these short courses and be able to get expert knowledge and assistance to help them develop and grow their business. Now, also too, the courses are offered online, so therefore they don't necessarily have to come down to the university, so it's more convenient for them, especially the person who works on an everyday basis. And the courses are targeted in different sectors, so we have pest and pesticide management, we also have food safety and preventive controls, and we also have HACCP, which stands for Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points. And these are critical, especially when you're working in the manufacturing industry or the agriculture industry, to make sure that you have consistently high hygiene standards, but also maintain the quality control factor of the food, because we want to make sure that everything they do is safe for the consumer to consume.
Now, we know that, you know, safety standards are paramount, especially when we're talking about consumables. So, you know, that is definitely refreshing to hear that there's so much happening behind the scenes. Talk to us about the collaborations that you have in terms of the businesses you work with and the various agencies to be able to make this happen.
Well, the good thing about it is that the expertise that we have here, we as a university, we interact with the University of Texas. So the HACCP courses that we offer are actually internationally recognized in the US, as well as the FSBCA course with the FSBCA Institute in the US. And they are also internationally recognized in terms of the courses. So the other bodies that we actually interact with here, it would be the BNSI, Barbados National Standards Institute, and CrossQ, where they were in developing standards and of course rolling out standards as well too, and trying to ensure that everyone meets a certain level of standards when it comes to food manufacturing or just the basic quality for their products.
How important is it for you to be able to work with organizations like CrossQ, and I know CrossQ works across the region, yes, as well, and BNSI, to be able to deliver, you know, the services that you do. A lot of people walk into supermarkets and various places, and we don't think for one instance, you know, the impact that it can have on us personally, like CrossQ and or BNSI, or even what you do at UE, if you are not constantly working at making things the way they should be.
Well, it's very, very important because BNSA sets the standards, even especially for labeling of prepackaged foods. And for us who are consumers, we don't want to go into a supermarket and pick up something and don't know what's in it because you might have an allergy. So you want to make sure that when you're consuming, that whatever you're consuming is safe for you. So therefore, that is where the collaboration comes in, where we definitely work with BNSA, know what their standards are, and then we're able to then educate persons on what is required when it comes to either the manufacturing part, the packaging, the labeling, the nutritional standards that are needed, any health claims that they might want to put on the packaging in terms of the weight, the branding, even as far as the address for the distributor or the manufacturer, things like shelf life, expiration date, and how the product is supposed to package, and that is important. And also too, if they're going to be going regional, because there are also standards regionally, if you're going to Trinidad or Jamaica and you want to export there, that is where CrossCuden has a regional standard for the Caribbean, where we can explain to the person what is required if you're going into these different sectors, so that their food would not be rejected at the point of receipt when it gets to that particular country.
I know we're still working on labeling and packaging, and I like to put it as telling people what's in their food. To be able to export to other markets, those most certainly are standards that many small producers or manufacturers have to live up to. Where are we in the grand scheme of things in terms of labels, nutritional contents, and the like?
I think we have advanced a lot because BNSA have done a good job in terms of making sure they educate persons. And then what we have found too is that once small businesses, even large, once they're developing a product, they want to put it on the market, they would just normally call BNSA or normally call persons like myself and ask for expert advice, and of course we give them the advice that they need and also direct them to the place that they need to get even the testing done. So at CCAS we also offer the nutritional label testing, so therefore they can come to us because we're like a one-stop shop where they can get the testing done and we can do the nutritional facts for them and actually help them with the label, so that way it's easy for them to get everything done in one location.
I want you to walk me through that process. So, you bring a product in and you're able to say what the nutritional contents are and things of that nature. Talk us through it.
Well, the good thing about it is that it can be done both theoretically and using technology. And the good thing about CCAS is that we have a machinery in a place that can actually test the product and roll out the information that is needed to generate a nutritional label. And that machine right now is called our NIR, near infrared technology, where it uses light and light absorption to be able to tell me what the components are within that particular product. And then I'm able to then put that then on the nutritional facts for the individual.
Wow, that's interesting stuff. And I think there are a lot of people who probably don't know precisely what you do here in Barbados, but that's why it's so wonderful to be able to connect with you and figure out what you do. And practically, we don't think about how much science plays a role in what we do. What would you say to potential students who are looking on or maybe interested in STEM and things like that, but are not too sure what areas they'd like to get into? Because this seems like a very interesting area.
I would say STEM science is fantastic, and there's a broad scheme of things. It's not limited to only the basic chemistry and physics, but we go into nanoscience, we go into AI, we go into food, we go into agriculture, we go as far as going into food science and food processing, and there's so many other areas that you can get into when it comes to science. So I would encourage persons, don't be afraid. It's exciting, and the good thing about it is that science, there's a lot of innovation, and we love to innovate, we love to create, we have to come up with new things and new ideas, and that's the beauty about science.
Oh, that's beautiful. Tell you what, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to delve a little deeper into why Mrs. Ben Graves decided to get into science. Maybe she'll be able to convince you.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning.
Hey guys, my name is John Yard and I'm the father to an amazing 3-year-old little boy. He'd say it like this: my name is Malachi John Yard. And Malachi, he's a super adventurous little boy. He loves to explore, he loves to have a great time, and it's my responsibility to facilitate such. One of the things that I do is ensure that the spaces where he's around, that they're safe from danger and harm. As a father, I also recognize that there's some things and some threats to his own safety as a child that we can't see with our physical eyes. That's why we believe in vaccinations as a family. I want my son, my adventurous little boy, to be as adventurous and as curious in this world as he possibly can, safely. We believe that DPT vaccination safeguards our son from tetanus, from diphtheria, and so many other viruses that are out there. My parents did it for me. I'm doing it for my son, and I really hope that you do it for yours. God bless you.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed, and welcome back. I have to say a special good morning to the little ones getting ready to head off to school today. Whatever you do, be good, all right? Make sure you listen to your parents, be good to your schoolmates, listen to your teachers, and you'll be just fine. So we're talking to Nadine Ben-Graves, who is Operations Manager with the Center for Commercial Analytical Services, or CCAS. Long names, they can be a little bit of a deterrent because they sound like, oh, that's so out there. Yeah, but tell me how you got into SciTech and this particular area of SciTech.
Okay, so coming out from school, and that's from Queen's College, my first job was working in the food industry, and I love science at school, so I was into biology, chemistry, and physics. So my initial passion was medicine, but then after getting a feel of what the food industry is like and how I can apply the science that I learned at school to the food industry, I kind of changed my major to food. So as a result, I actually did my master's in food science and technology, and I was so excited about the ability to actually innovate because it gave me a broader scope to do more things than just being in just medicine. So I really enjoy that and love it, and from there I have expanded to different borders and to different streams, so not only to the agriculture industry, the manufacturing industry, but also to the food service sector as well. So that's where my passion actually grew for food science.
That's wonderful. What are some of the surprises that you got coming into the industry?
For me, it was a level of understanding in terms of persons not knowing a lot of background information and how science works so closely with what they're doing. And I love the fact that I can be able to teach them what I know in terms of how science integrates with what they do and how important it is for science to be applied in the correct way such that we make sure that everything that we do is safe and that it meets a certain standard, because that is important for any industry and for consistency. And of course, consumers love consistency. So it's important to make sure that we ensure that for the consumers.
Now, when we look at the Sustainable Development Goals, and we have a new target, so to speak, 25 by 25,
yes.
Working toward reducing the amount of food we import, and most certainly we want to change up the way we approach food, how we eat, how we grow our food, what we grow, and things like that. I would imagine that you guys, in tandem with other businesses and other services, I know other parts of your department
yes.
Deal with that, in a more in-depth way. But based on what we're working to and what you do in your particular department, what would you say to Barbadians about what we consume and how we consume it on our journey to making targets on that 25 by 25 initiative?
I would say to consumers, definitely be mindful of what you eat and then where it is grown as well. We are encouraging persons to grow local, eat local. And as my colleague would have said yesterday from Calgary, food sovereignty. So we want to make sure that we grow our food as close to our home ground as possible. And of course, making sure that it's healthy as possible. So trying to minimize pesticide use, but of course, looking at sustainability in terms of climate change and how it impacts food and food quality and food safety. And then working together as a team, both CCAS and CAGRI and UE and other entities, to make sure that we have all of that happening right here within our local space in Barbados.
With that said, and knowing what you know, because we know now, you told us you have from equipment
Yes.
all the way back to resources that you can really test and see what's in foods and so on. So, you know, what are some of the things you'd say that you should probably stay away from? We want some insider information.
Say a balanced diet is important. I wouldn't say stay away. I would say stay away for anything specific. Everything is balanced. And of course, water for hydration, exercise is important, but also, again, you want to make sure that the pesticide levels are very low. So even encouraging farmers, you know, to wait after they use pesticides and looking at the quantities they use, how they use it, what type of pesticides they use, that is important as well. We can't see it with the naked eye, but it is present. So that's why it's important to pay close attention to the foods that we eat and try to consume as much local as possible, because obviously when we're importing so much, you have a high use of pesticides, you have to use a high level of preservatives in order to preserve the product from where it is coming from, so that it's still good when it gets here to in our island. So the aim is to try to make sure that we use as much local produce as possible. And then for us, we have the machinery that can test to see, you know, if the levels and the residues for the preservatives as well as the pesticides are high. So we have that technology as well too. So the aim is to try to eat as close to home as possible.
Yeah, she was very politically correct on that answer. Are there any opportunities for businesses? How do they get to be able to work with you so that maybe small, thriving, growing businesses or SMEs are able to, you know, kind of utilize your services to be able to export, maybe move into other markets?
Well, all they have to do is give us a call at the UWA or email us, and the information will be posted on the website and of course on the screen, and then we can actually offer that service that they need depending on whatever area that they need help in. We can actually help them in that particular area. They can actually come into our facility as well and see our equipment, see the testing that we do, and then we can go on site, we can look at their products, examine it, and see what help they need in that particular area. And of course, if they're using a particular facility, do an assessment of the facility as well too, and to help them to make sure that they can be able to not export the product, but that their facility is ready for surveillance by any export authority if that is required. And the good thing about us is that our services are offered outside of the traditional hours. So we open till 6 o'clock in the evening, so persons can work during the day from the normal 8 to 4 and still come and get testing done. And of course, as I said, we can go to their facility, and then in addition to that, we are also available online as well, so that they can actually reach out to us and contact us, and we can then reach out to them. So it's very convenient for persons, especially small persons, who might be the chief cook and bottle washer within the business. We would come in and lend our expertise that they need in order to get them going.
That's beautiful. Let's repeat a little bit about these short courses. You said that you're doing them in tandem with businesses, obviously already in food science and the food industry and things of that nature, who might need to have some short courses to bring their people up to scratch.
Yes, and the courses are HACCP, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, and that is for food processing and food service. Pesticides and pesticide management, so those persons who actually go in and do pesticide management, who actually go in and do the spraying, the operators, pest control companies, even the smart farmers who actually do farming. We show you how to actually use the sprayer, how to mix what PPE you should be actually using when you're using pesticides, because we want to make sure that it's safe not only for the person who's applying, but for the produce as well that you're applying the pesticide to. And of course, the other course is food safety preventative control, and that is to get persons up and running to know what controls they need to put in place to prevent any hazards from happening before they actually do happen.
All right, Faculty of Science and Technology, celebrating all this week. Are there any opportunities for people to come in and see what you do?
Definitely.
Tell me about it.
Well, we are open this week, and anyone can just come, just give us a call, and we can arrange to have them visit the facility. And of course, this is an opportunity too for those persons who are graduating from the university, for them to get a step above their colleagues in terms of doing the short courses, and then being able to have that expertise and being open and exposed to the equipment that is being used within the industry, so that they have a footing before they actually get into the world of work. So we encourage persons and university students to take advantage, and of course spread the word regionally as well as locally.
All right, celebrating with the University of the West Indies and the Faculty of Science and Technology this week as they share with us all of the interesting ways that they're engaging and interacting with us as a people.
Yes,
thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, you can go. It's an open day. Maybe your little one might be interested in science, not too sure exactly which direction they want to go into. This is a great opportunity to take them in and give them some options. We're going to take a break and come on back here on Morning Barbados as the streets on Wildey get a little busier for your morning commutes to school and work.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I am Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. Selecting water instead of commercial juice drinks or sweet drinks or sodas is recommended with meals and with snacks. Parents are advised to choose alternatives. Avoid drinks where the first two ingredients on the back label are water and a type of sugar. The high frequent consumption of sugar contributes to developing overweight and obesity in your child.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mahalia from Mahalia's Corner and the band to Mile Hill. I'm about to become a mommy for the very first time, and I know there's so much that I can't control as my baby grows up. And while that's the truth for all parents, there are some things we can do to help set up our little ones for a long and healthy life. And one of those things is making sure that they're immunized against deadly but preventable diseases like polio, rubella, and mumps. Things like measles have been making a recent comeback due to a serious decline in childhood immunization. Now, my mommy made sure we kept up with my immunization schedule when I was little, and now here I am, healthy, and about to do the same for my own bundle of joy. So I encourage you to get your little ones immunized, keep up with their immunization schedules, and give them the best chance at growing up strong and healthy and having the opportunity to make a positive impact on the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between stress and burnout? Do you walk into the workplace every day and say, hello, how are you doing? And someone says, tired, first thing in the morning. So what's going on and why should we change that? Hey, it's a conversation we're going to have with the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados. So welcoming my favorite president of all time, we're Nicholas Roberts. He's here with us in the flesh. And this is the first time we're interviewing in person.
It is.
We've interviewed 4 months, if not years, online.
Just over a year, yeah.
And so good to have Dr. June Price Humphrey join me on set again.
Yes. Thanks for
well.
having me back.
It's been about 4 years.
Doesn't feel so long.
It is.
COVID
it is that long.
COVID is very strange. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's wonderful to have both of you here. Of course, Dr. June Price Humphrey is a consultant psychiatrist, and as I mentioned, Nicholas is the president of HERMAB. Now, Nicholas, how important is it for us to have these types of conversations to start about our employees? A lot of people talk about whether you're getting the most of your employees, but they don't necessarily go beyond that and delve into what are all the reasons that you could be, on the end of not getting the best of them?
Yeah, so I think often people forget that when you come into the workplace, you have to bring everything that is going on in your life with you. So I know people often ask or say rather that when you come to the workplace that you need to leave your problems at the door. That is not possible. So when you come into the workspace, whatever is going on in your personal life, you're going to bring with you, whether for the better or the worse. And I think this conversation is very pertinent in terms of why stress or burnout, or a mixture of both, can impact how it is that you bring your best or your worst self into the workspace.
All right, Dr. Price Humphrey, the question is yours.
Sure.
What's the difference? From a lay perspective, and somebody said, I feel burnt out, I'd probably think, okay, it might have some level of stress in there as well.
Absolutely. So let's start with stress as our baseline. Stress isn't always bad. When we feel stressed in the workplace, stress just means that we feel something's a little bit beyond our capabilities, right? So if you feel stressed in the workplace, you may be motivated to upskill, go back for certification, seek mentorship in the workplace, right? So stress in and of itself isn't bad. Burnout refers to the negative physical and emotional consequences of being under stress in a situation where the job requirements do not align in some way with either the resources available, the employee's needs, or the employee's capabilities. So for instance, you've got an employee who may be stressed at a new promotion, but feels motivated to upskill. And I'll contrast that to burnout in a moment. You may have an employee who's stressed in the workplace because there aren't enough resources of time and manpower to do the job, so they are motivated, and I keep using that word, to go to their supervisors and say, hey, this is what I need, advocate for the job, right? Or they may have particular needs that need to be met in the short term, and they can advocate for it. What happens though, as we compare stress to burnout is when these processes are going on for too long, too intense, or maybe not providing methods for to disseminate that stress. So situations where you have high effort, I have to do a lot. I have to put out this program, I have to deal with a lot of customers at Christmas time, etc. But over a long period of time, so rather than only Christmas, you're in maybe a customer service job where it's every day all the time, or you're in a managerial position where every time one project is finished, another one is coming down on you. So high effort, low reward. No one says either good job or gives you a job bonus or allows you a day off extra other than your vacation. So high output, low reward, or prolonged effort without the capabilities of executing. So it's when someone micromanages you. They give you the responsibility, but they don't give you the resources to execute that responsibility, again, for long periods of time. So whereas stress can be motivating, burnout is demotivating. Whereas stress can have you feel, I am a little tired, burnout can leave you feeling as though there's nothing left to give. And so burnout in particular are those physical and emotional consequences of stress paired with a sense of cynicism and detachment now from the job. So rather than being motivated to do better, you feel helpless and hopeless. You go, okay, nothing going to change, so why am I going to bother? And whereas in times of stress, you may feel like there are outlets for you to get things done. When you are burnt out, there's this sense of ineffectiveness, and as though nothing you did in the past was of any good, nothing you do in the future is any good, and therefore, why should I try?
Wow, quite a mouthful, but I can relate to everything you've said, and I'm sure every other person who's working in Barbados is saying the same thing. Show me the unicorn. Show me the unicorn work environment where you have all the resources you need and all the people you need to be able to get something done. I mean, there will be a shortfall someplace, but what stays with me is the fact that you said little to no reward, little to no feedback, and for a prolonged period. I think those are the things that really make the difference. So, Nicholas, what can workplaces, what can managers do to create a more welcoming work environment, or a work environment where their employees are not necessarily going to burn out, because there's far more support, even if they don't have the resources that they need.
A lot of the times, I think organizations, sometimes they don't realize how toxic the environment is. So if it is, to Dr. Price Humphrey's point, if it is you're coming into a workspace and you're met with negativity, whether it's from the persons that you're working with, you have a lack of resources, whether it be financial or physical resources, and you're just trying to get the job done, but for whatever reason you're met with resistance, that is not an environment that you want to come into, because eventually people will, you're constantly, you feel as if you're like a hamster on a wheel. You're running, and you don't feel as if you're getting anything done. So if it is that you're coming into that type of environment, then how it is that you have to see how it is that you can motivate a person that you're working with. Some persons are motivated intrinsically, others are motivated extrinsically. What does that mean? Some persons motivate themselves. So they may come into a work environment and they may say, I am stressed out, or it's not the most conducive work environment, but I know I'm doing this because I just have a high work ethic, I love my job, I have bills to pay, whatever the reason, I think that I am doing this job to the best of my ability. Whereas there are some people that need to be motivated by money. There are some persons that need to be motivated by saying, very good job. So you need to understand what motivates your employee, because what motivates John may not motivate Mary. And once you do that, then you need to then work on the factors that build the workplace. So is it that you have you're reprimanding persons when it is that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing? You're holding people accountable. Reprimanding does not mean speaking to people negatively, but it just means holding people accountable for when it is that they don't do what they're supposed to do.
Oh, wait, pause there a minute. Repeat. You said reprimanding does not mean?
Reprimanding does not mean holding people accountable in a negative way. There's a way as a manager to say to your staff member, you could do something better, but not do it in a way that demoralizes the person. And I think at the crux of it, that is what stresses out people, along with many other things, and burns out employees coming into an environment, not having, as to Dr. Price Humphrey's point, not having the resources and being talked down to, or being, feel as if you're scolded like a school child.
Listen, he had to say that for the people in the back. I know that you were nodding in agreement.
Yes, because when people may have heard of the fight or flight response in terms of yourself. You're anxious and you either want to flee or you want to get into an argument. Businesses have fight or flight responses as well.
Yeah.
So what he just described is that there's some employees who, because they're under stress, do the fighting, they're quarreling, they're nitpicking, they're making mistakes on purpose to spite someone else, they're politicking. Or the flight response, they're sitting in a team meeting, they say nothing, the face push up, they're not interacting, they're coming to work late, leaving early, or they're there on time but no productivity. And so those are also signs that your organization is heading towards burnout, not just the individual. As he said, the toxic workplace.
Presenteeism, I think, is one of the new age words that they use to describe stuff like that.
Yeah.
So going for long periods of time without addressing burnout and stress, what can it do to someone's mental health? Because I think that's where we're taking it. Outside of the impact on the business, there must be some impact on the employee as well.
Right. We have the consequences to the individual can be things like depression. So we can have depressed mood, which is a sadness, but you can have depressive disorders, which is more than just the sadness. It is the withdrawing, not interacting, not eating well, not sleeping well, not looking after your well-being. We have things like anxiety. You come in and you're constantly tense, picky at everything, worried about everything. But then we also have the spill over into the family. So you get home from a toxic environment, and rather than leave the workplace at the door now, you're snapping at your friends, your family, you're not socializing, you're not being replenished by your social contacts. And so everything goes into the workplace, you have nothing left then for your family and friends. And they in turn don't know how to support you because they just see you as a miserable person where all you're doing is trying to keep your head above water. So the consequences can be both in terms of illness, but ill health generally. And when we're chronically under stress and our stress hormones go up, like cortisol, we also have things like heart disease, cancers don't respond well, just general malaise and illness. So both our mental well-being in terms of being able to concentrate as well, being able to focus on what needs to be done, being able to prioritize our family and our faith and our friends and our community. All of that goes out the door. So even if you're not ill in the medical sense, you are not mentally well.
You're not presenting the best you.
That's right.
Nicholas, are there any specific practices that employees can engage in to kind of mitigate the damage of having burnout with their employees?
I think we've discussed a few times over the past few months to a year in terms of the importance of employee assistance programs. They're very underutilized in organizations, I will say. The benefit is there for an employee to tap into in terms of going to a professional like Dr. Price Humphrey to get some assistance, because I always say that your human resources practitioners within your organizations are not psychologists, they're not psychiatrists. They're there to assist you, yes, with your development, yes, in terms of bring your best self to the workplace. But when it comes to dealing with things that are so heavy in terms of mental health from a clinical perspective or from a doctor's perspective, they can only do but so much. So I would say tap into your EAP. Also, I would say in terms of we need to skill our managers in a way in terms of how it is that they need to interact with their staff and coach staff and guide staff. I keep saying that over and over, and I think that is important, because having conversations between managers and staff and having the environment that can happen is very, very important, because I think a lot of times we always say your managers need to be talking to your staff, but does the workplace or the working environment permit for that? So I think, like I said, having EAPs in place and also having the managers in place are able to have those conversations, and also then having the emotional intelligence, which is the next step, both at the managerial level and the staff level, to handle those difficult situations, both the physical situations that may present themselves within the workspace, as well as the interpersonal problems that may arise.
Yeah, so EAPs, employee assistance programs.
Yep.
Yeah, so just so that we're all on the same page, we have to have a part 2 to this conversation.
Definitely.
Because I have so many other questions for Dr. Price Humphrey, and for you, of course, when it comes to dealing with employee well-being and health and wellness. I think it's important for us to have daily conversations about it. Sure. And I say a little empathy goes a very long way. All right? Thank you both for coming in. Have a fantastic day today. Enjoy your rest of the week.
Same to you. Same to you.
And I wish you have very little traffic as you move around Barbados. They're like, that's pie in the sky.
Yeah,
that's why I'm wishing.
Expectation.
Wishing and hoping and praying in February. Hey, we're going to take a break here and come on back. Stay with us. It's Morning Barbados, and we are live at the Standard Showroom in Wildey.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hi, good day. I'm Auntie Diane to some of the children in my life, but I'm also Dr. Diane Brathwaite from the Barbados Diabetes Foundation. So it has been shown that consumption of sugar in excessive amounts contributes to diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, acne, concentration problems, putting on excess weight, and I could go on and on. Do you know that some of your favorite juices, soft drinks, flavored waters contain as much as 6, 10, 12, 17 teaspoons of sugar? I bet you didn't know that 1 teaspoon of sugar is equal to 4 grams of carbohydrates. So when you drink a drink that contains 53 grams of sugar, do the math. How many teaspoons of sugar are you drinking?
Give me water instead.
Rethink your drink.
Hi folks, it's Natalie Burke. Y'all remember when we used to have to line up at primary school with our uniform sleeves rolled up so the nurses could give us the injection? Or that bad tasting drop of red liquid that they used to give us with a sugar cube to kill the taste? Wanna know just what I'm talking about? Those are our childhood memories. But while memories were being made, we were actually getting protection. Protection from illnesses and diseases like measles, mumps, rubella, and polio that could make us very sick or potentially kill us. Nowadays, there has been a noticeable decrease in the numbers of children being immunized. Why deny them a chance to be well or even to live? Come on, parents and guardians, step up for your children. Get them immunized and keep up with the immunization schedule. Stop lying and get your children protected, starting today.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed, with the sun high in the sky. It's good to have you with us on this beautiful morning. It's a great day in Barbados. For a while last year, I don't know if you realized, but we had a lot more rain than usual. And even though it was good for the plants and stuff like that, I don't know if it was so good for me. You know, well, in Bajan parlance, we say too that young plants need rainwater. And after all, I am young. All right, so it's time for us to talk to Dr. Sherry Ann Dixon, International Multi-Award Transformational Coach. She's a lecturer. She is a public speaker. And Alison Brown Ellis, corporate executive, professional mentor. She's a motivational speaker. She was Motivational Speaker of the Year 2022, founder of Boss Ladies United. She's an author as well. And she writes these amazing posts on LinkedIn that I read them and think, why don't I ever come up with stuff like this? So here she is, and here you are. Good morning to you, ladies, and
Good morning.
welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
So we're all in the same general color family as we look toward International Women's Day that's coming up in a matter of days. Of course, the color is purple, but you know, as ladies, we're entitled to the pinks and all the shades that go in between to make it happen. And of course, you're here to talk to us about just being awesome. So I'm going to start with you, Alison. Tell us a little bit about this amazing event that's coming up.
Thank you so much, and good morning, Barbados. And I'm really honored to be here. This event is actually being led by Dr. Dixon, so I am actually very honored to have been drafted to be a part of the program. Dr. Dixon's, as you start to look at her bio, you would see the amazing work that she has been doing across the UK and just internationally in terms of empowering women. My role here simply is to represent myself and the women that I support daily in terms of this journey of moving from where we are to where we're destined to be, and you know, just being awesome in doing so, owning our power and really stepping up and representing all the other young professionals that are coming behind us. You know, there's so much more that we can do if we accept that we are awesome. So I think I'll stop there for now.
This is true, and nothing says that a program is good more than if you're able to put something together that you can easily replicate in other places. So this started in London, you brought it to Guyana, and you know, it's been working well, and now we have an opportunity to be a part of it here in Barbados. Tell us more.
Yes, good morning everybody in Barbados. Yes, it's wonderful to be able to bring the concept. In London it was Awesome You, and the Caribbean tour is Be Awesome, because I'm trying to encourage women to do that, be awesome. Quite often when you're traveling, you find that people say, I wish I could do what you do. I'm like, hello. If you're go on a plane and you see the air hostess, that's a nice job, but there are many of us, many women who are air hostesses. I would like to see you think about being the pilot. There is no reason why you can't be. If we're here at this TV station, there's no reason that you can't be the producer, the director, whatever it is behind the scenes, if you don't have the confidence to be in front of the camera. There are so many roles, and it doesn't have to just be the doctor, the teacher, the basic four. There are so many roles that we can
do out there. So I'm trying to convince this Caribbean audience, because we're going to take this on the road, to be awesome.
That says so much. And there's no better time in Barbados than now, Alison, for us to continue to highlight how awesome women are, particularly when we talk about the roles that they have taken on and they're taking on even now.
Yes. I think one of the things that I'm a firm believer of is that we as women have to become the CEO of our life, right? And the same way we're CEO of businesses, it's really taking ownership for where you want to be. And I think it goes back to Dr. Dixon's point that there's no limit to what we can do. We just have to have the mindset shift that helps us to start to ignite that inner passion that is, hopefully it's triggered by purpose, like in my case with Boss Ladies United, recognizing that there's a need for other women to feel and live what they want, what they're aspiring to be. We can live this out daily, but we have to first own it. And I think, Tisha, that's where it starts for me. It starts by recognizing that I'm here for a purpose and I'm here to serve. And if we can start by first serving ourselves and our needs and what we aspire to, I think we would be halfway along the journey. I think there's just in terms of being awesome, one of the things that I find is that we limit ourselves too much as women. I find that the views and perceptions of others, they weigh too heavily on where we are and where we're going. And that maybe it's a bit of imposter syndrome that comes into play, but I do think that we're at a critical or pivotal moment where we have to own what we want to be in this life.
Absolutely. And I love that you talked about bringing the next generation along, because we can't possibly look at empowering women without empowering girls as well.
Yes.
So this event is coming up next Friday.
It's next Friday.
Tell me more.
Okay. One of the themes, one of my themes is send the elevator back down. When you send the elevator back down, whether it's for a woman who's in her 60s that want to go back and study and restart, or a woman who is a young woman who's sort of just coming out of college. I don't really know what they do here, but say they're coming out of college, that they're able to be inspired. We have to be role models and stop taking a seat back. We need to encourage more mentoring. There's not enough people who are mentoring others. And in fact, women giving back, and let's call it as it is. You have to give back, and so you have to train the next generation. So this event is at the Marriott, and it's the Marriott Courtyard. I don't know if there's another Marriott, but the Marriott Courtyard. And it's from 6 to 8. We're saying on time, not Bajan time.
Ouch!
On time. And we because we want 2 hours of vibrancy, motivation, all the things that come with feeling better. So you need to come and be there. It's only £75, I think, $75. I'm still in London. $75, and we give you some food as well. And as I said, there's 3 of us. There's Alison, then there's Lindell Danzy Black, and then there's me. So it's time to create more motivators. It's time to tell somebody that yes, you can. Can't is not in our dictionary. The motivators. Can is the word, and that's what this is about.
And sometimes people just need practical examples.
Yes.
Not even a roadmap to follow, but just a path that they can take.
Yes.
An example of where they can go. And your whole idea of sending the elevator back down is not even, we've talked in the past about the ladder and having a ladder there. And now with AI and all the technology available, the ladder is out the window, so you're sending an elevator, so it makes it a whole lot easier to get to the top. And we know with an elevator, you can climb even higher.
Yes.
I mean, if we talk about, just the imagery that goes along with sharing on something like that. What are you looking forward to most, Alison? And I know that you've been a part of many of these sessions in terms of motivating others, motivating young girls especially to reach their full potential,
Yes.
or at least start working toward it?
Absolutely. My theme for the event is actually going to be as we climb. So same thing. So we're sending the elevator back down, but there's a process around the climb, and there's so many factors that influence our progress as women. And I'm going to be highlighting through real life experiences some of those factors that come into play. Whether it is how we are handling setbacks, how are we handling continuing to carry the light in the face of adversity? How are we able to position ourselves to be confident in our skin, as well as how are we able to bring others along on the journey? And I think the point that Dr. Dixon is making is the power of paying it forward. We have to start to see each other as supplementary to each other. We're not competing against each other. We're a community. And until we as women start to see that, I think this is it's still theoretical. We're not living the real life experiences that we want to bring. We want to see change, but we have to lead the change that we want. So I'm hoping that the women that come, they would come to this session, be awesome, will feel inspired enough to want to ignite that change, will want to collectively join on this journey of transformation.
I think for a long time, even our language really has been, that women are not supposed to be supportive of each other.
I know.
And, even the language used. So for that reason, and we find sometimes in workplaces that we pit women against each other a lot. So it's wonderful that you have this event, and such a timely event, encouraging women to be awesome by presenting the stories and kind of a roadmap from women who've traveled the path and who can show their successes as well. Remember, it comes off this coming Friday, well, not this Friday, next Friday. So International Women's Day celebrations.
Friday the 8th.
Reception from 5:30 to 6.
Yes.
And then from 6 to 8 over at Courtyard at the Marriott is only $75. Now you can call or WhatsApp 825-7336. That's 825-7336 for your tickets. And 2 tickets are also going to be donated to the YWCA to help with the programs that they're currently running. So that is in keeping with the bringing others along as well. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Sherry Ann Dixon, for being here and sharing with us. And Alison Brown Ellis, my schoolmate. It's always wonderful to see you in the flesh.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you next Friday.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We hope that we see you next Friday too. It's only $75. No, $75. So make sure you get your tickets. And if you need more information, you need that WhatsApp number, call us after, and we're going to share it with you as well. Hey, we're going to take another break. When we come back, a whole lot more here on Morning Barbados. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Every year, millions of children die from causes that are preventable and treatable. Scary, right? It's a songbird Nikita, mom of 2 young boys, Knox and Noah. And rates of immunization have been backsliding to their lowest levels in the last 3 decades, which means that children are missing out on routine vaccines that can help keep them safe from deadly diseases like measles, mumps, polio, and even tetanus. I want to encourage every mom and dad out there to give your child the opportunity to live a healthy life, one that they will not only survive, but thrive. Protect your child as I protect mine.
Hello, good day. My name is Dr. Diane Bradford. I'm the Clinical Director at the Barbados Diabetes Foundation and also the lead consultant at the Diabetes Clinic. My tip for the week is plan it. And what do I mean by plan it? If you think about it realistically, we all live very, very busy lives. And if you take the time to plan your meals and nutrition over the coming week, you'll find that you'll actually eat healthier meals, spend less money, and they'll probably actually taste a lot better. So what exactly do I mean by plan it? where you're gonna go, what you're gonna buy, where you're gonna shop. What about your budget? When you're gonna cook food? Maybe when you're gonna prepare snacks for maybe the kids in the week. Say this cantaloupe, for example. There's so many things that I can do with this. I could actually use this to make an unsweetened natural juice. Maybe hit it with a twist of lime. I can also cut it up and just eat it as fresh fruit. Maybe I can actually make a smoothie with it, with yogurt. You know what else I love to put cantaloupe in? Salad. Or how about using it as a chutney, a pickle, add it to meats. There's just so much stuff that you can do with just the simple things that you can buy. So remember, the health of our children matters. What you put in is what you get out. So plan your best life today.
Hi everybody, my name is Stephanie Chase, an educator tasked with providing a safe environment that is conducive to learning for the children in my care. It is therefore very important for me to encourage parents and guardians to get their children vaccinated. Picture this, 30 children in a classroom sharing food, drinks, snacks, and work materials, occupying the same space. Now, if one of those children comes to school ill and educational administrators are not aware or informed, the chances of other children in the classroom becoming sick is highly probable. Now, you may be asking, why should I get my child vaccinated? Here is the thing, vaccinations work. They safeguard your children from becoming ill or dying from diseases such as mumps, measles, rubella, polio, or tetanus. Now, listen very carefully. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has provided very important information for you to make an informed decision. As someone who has been vaccinated as a child and who continues to be vaccinated as an adult, I can assure you that vaccines work. I protect you, you protect me, and together we can protect everybody. God bless.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning indeed. Good to have you with us. It's time for an update of the news. Barbados appears to be facing a worrying child abuse problem. It is one of the issues raised during the start of yesterday's estimates, where the focus has been on the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs. Minister Humphrey has provided figures to show the extent of the child abuse problem here in Barbados. He says between 2019 and 2023, Barbados recorded more than 2,000 cases. Mr. Humphrey says it is clear a lot more needs to be done to protect the island's children, and it is for this reason he believes pending child protection legislation is critical.
Now, these sound like numbers, but every single one of those numbers really and truly is a child. A child. And I do not think that any of us in this room should be able to sleep at night. That is not why we are here. Recognizing that some people are taking advantage in this country of children. These are reported cases, naturally, which means that all may not be true, but it also suggests that there are some cases that I know that are not here. And that as a government, we have to put ourselves in a position to protect children. I believe the coming child protection legislation is the best effort to protect children in this country. I believe that the issues that were raised, we've dealt with them, and I do hope if other issues are raised when it comes back, that we can do so in a manner that is respectful of the reality of the bill.
The provision of child welfare services must be a round-the-clock operation. That's the view of Acting Attorney General and Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abrams. He stated there have been times when families have found it difficult to reach the welfare department in the aftermath of tragedy.
It should not be that I have to go up a chain or pick individual people. It should be that those who have responsibilities for certain areas or those who have responsibilities for certain aspects of welfare are accessible and willing to render the assistance required in a timely fashion. When somebody reaches out for welfare, it's because that person has hit a low that they can't help themselves out of. They require assistance of the state to save the house, to save the dignity. It is not a call made lightly. I do believe that persons who are welfare officers, who are contact or point persons, should be available 24/7.
Now, classes at the Lester Vaughan School will be held online from today until the Ministry of Education says otherwise. This after teachers and students fell ill yesterday, forcing the early closure of the St. Thomas institution, which has been plagued by environmental issues for several weeks now. The decision was announced by Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw. It follows a meeting at the Ministry of Education involving the school's management and board of members, along with teachers' unions and education officials.
Given what the teachers said this morning, it was agreed that we will utilize the online mode of teaching and learning for the remainder of this week, or well, I would say for a period. Today there was an air quality test done. The results of that air quality test should come back by next week, and at that time you'll be able to make a full determination with regard to how we will move forward with the school.
And it's sports season, you know that, so a little bit of sports, especially for our little ones. Christchurch girls and St. Giles are the early leaders in the Holiday Bermudez James Wedderburn zone of the 2024 knapsack meet. Yesterday in the field events finals at Alexandra School, as well as at Coleridge and Parry, Christchurch won the girls category with 115 points, 67 points ahead of St. Giles Primary on 48, while St. Lucie were third with 39. Then in the boys section, St. Giles, they're ahead with 88, just 3 points more than St. Stephen's, while St. Lucie were third with 54. Meanwhile, in the Rubis Andrea Blackett zone, Good Shepherd are leading the charge, both the boys and girls categories, and they lead the girls category with 84. That's ahead of St. Paul's on 77 and Eden Lodge third on 39. Then in the boys, Good Shepherd got 79 to Eden Lodge School's 61 and St. Gabriel's 42. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boyce was there.
Brilliant sunshine, athletes ready to go as Knapsack 2024 begins with the field events at Courage and Parry and the Alexandra School. This is action from the James Wedderburn and Andrea Blackett zones, and we begin with the under-13 girls long jump. Both zones competing at the same time, and this is Amiri Thompson of Christchurch girls. It's a clean jump, 4.41 meters is the winning leap for the James Wedderburn zone, and she was just off the record of 4.97 meters. And Ari Aline Toussaint of St. Matthews was second with a best jump of 3.81 meters, and Nyla Matthews Alcinda third with 3.77. Let's move to the open boys shot put, where there's a new record holder in town in the James Wedderburn zone. His name is Rojani Cox of St. Stephen's. He huffed and puffed and blew the competition away. Look at the power in the muscles. 9.26 meters, he smashed the old mark of 8.74. Savion Jones of St. Giles was second with a big throw of 8.33 meters, with his schoolmate Dylan Morris third, 7.61. We bring our coverage to an end with the under-13 boys long jump. This is the winner, Jamali Boyce of St. Lucie, with a best jump of 4 meters. Pretty impressive. Jadit Hines of St. Stephen's was second with a best leap of 3.91, with Savi Griffith of St. Giles third with 3.68. Knapsack continues tomorrow with the Anton Norris and Marcia Trotman zones. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
Hey, thank you, Anmar. He gets all the action being outdoors. Go St. Stephen's. So Knapsack also continues with Alexandra and CP with the Patsy Calendar and Obadele Thompson zones, and that is, of course, today. And that's our update of news. Remember, stay tuned to TV 8 for Newsday at 12 noon. Then, of course, we have The World at 1 on our radio network of stations, 98.1 The One, 94.7 FM, and 100.7 FM. Morning Barbados continues after this. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good
good day. I'm Auntie Diane to some of the children in my life, but I'm also Dr. Diane Braffett from the Barbados Diabetes Foundation. So it has been shown that consumption of sugar in excessive amounts contributes to diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, acne, concentration problems, putting on excess weight, and I could go on and on. Do you know that some of your favorite juices, soft drinks, flavored waters contain as much as 6, 10, 12, 17 teaspoons of sugar?
17. 17?
I bet you didn't know that 1 teaspoon of sugar is equal to 4 grams of carbohydrates. So when you drink a drink that contains 53 grams of sugar, do the math. How many teaspoons of sugar are you drinking?
Give me water instead.
Rethink your drink.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed, and welcome back. The sun is out with a vengeance today, yes? Maybe that's because I talked about all of that rain a little bit earlier, but that's okay. We're not complaining. It's good to have beautiful sunshine. There are some people in other places in the world, hi sisters, who are in the icy cold. Yeah, but some of them are enjoying that as well. But we're sending you a little sunshine from beautiful Barbados on this beautiful Wednesday morning. So it's wonderful for us to have Simon Allen, who's Program Officer with the Department of Emergency Management. And today we're looking at the upcoming launch of Coastal Hazards and Earthquake Smart Month. Simon?
Yes, hi, good morning to you, Tia.
Always good to see you.
Good to see you too as well.
Wearing this hat today.
Yep.
Because we've been talking about you for the past few days. In a totally different light.
The performing arts and culture.
The performing arts and culture.
That's right.
And of course, what you're doing throughout the communities on the weekend.
That's right.
So we'll save talking about that for another time. But
Correct.
today, we're looking at the all-important start of the upcoming Coastal Hazards and Earthquake Smart Month. What does that mean in real terms?
So basically, for the month of March, at the Department of Emergency Management, we work with our partners, the Coastal Zone Management Unit, to build public awareness on the tsunami hazard as well as being earthquake smart. So for the month of March, we're going to have a number of activities that would engage the public. We're starting with our launch this Friday at 10 a.m. at the Folkestone Marine Park. So we're inviting everyone. We've already sent out letters to the schools. We've invited service clubs and other government departments and private sector entities to come out to learn more about the tsunami project that is being done in Barbados with regards to early warning and having signs along the coastal areas that would have been identified to be somewhat inundated if we have a tsunami. But more important, we want to get Barbadians into the habit of understanding that we're in a multi-hazard society. It's not just hurricanes from June to November, but you would remember we would have had things like the ash fall that occurred, although we don't have a volcano here in Barbados. So it's important that we take preparedness seriously. And I think more importantly for the month of March, as we focus on coastal hazards and earthquakes, that we get our young people involved. So we have this Friday, we have a number of booths for exhibitors sharing information about coastal management as well as preparedness activities that they can take.
Absolutely. And I think for a long time we've kind of been saying God is a Bajan, and that meant that nothing would happen to us ever. However, it's important because of the environment within which we live that we're fully aware of all of these hazards.
That's right.
That present themselves.
Because knowledge is power. And the thing about it is that we're not saying that an earthquake is going to happen tomorrow. We're not saying that. But what we're saying is that in the event of an earthquake happening, we should know what to do. You know, I am fortunate to travel a couple times a year. And no matter whenever I get on an airline, doesn't matter which airline it is across the world, there is always that safety brief at the beginning that, you know, you need your life jackets are under the seat. In case of emergency, you know, you tuck your head behind the seat and so on. And it's the same thing when it comes to hazards. Obviously, if you're on a coastal area and an earthquake occurs, After the initial shaking, you leave, you evacuate by foot, and you try to go further inland, because we recognize that obviously if an earthquake occurs, you don't want to get in your car and be stuck in traffic along the whole coastal area. You have to go further inland, you move by foot, you get your family, and you go inland.
Of course, preparedness means that we're helping people understand how to do this and how to make a plan. And next Friday, there's going to be a simulation that people can be a part of. Tell us more.
Right, so that simulation basically is for what we will call our Earthquake Smart Day. And that's happening on Friday, March 8th. And we're asking people at 10 a.m., we're going to have the simulation of an earthquake. And the international practice is drop, cover, and hold. We're not asking you to try to force yourself under a desk or your table if you're at work or at home. But we're saying to you that if you're in your work environment, you try to get as close as possible to your desk, and you cover your head while you're looking around to ensure that nothing can fall on you. And then you exit the building and you go to your assembly point. Across Barbados, even here at Standard, there would be an assembly point not only for workers, but also for persons visiting the premises to go to in case of an emergency. So it's very important that we recognize that earthquakes can happen at any time. And the thing is, knowledge is power. Once you know what to do, you can respond appropriately, save your life, and reduce damage.
We truly are making inroads, in that regard, because when you talked about the assembly points, most places you go, you see that there's a sign.
See the sign, that's right.
Where they have the assembly points up. And all of this is not so far-fetched, because there have now been 2 separate occasions where we at CBC have kind of had to run out of the building pretty quickly because of feeling some shaking. And one as early as maybe just a few weeks ago.
That's right.
If you could recall. So this is not far-fetched at all.
Not.
And then thinking about what's happening down the region with Kickham Jenny, we don't want to scare anyone. But as you said, you have to be prepared.
Right, and that's why knowledge is power. So once people understand what to do, because once you train your mind and you're able to understand the steps, where you try to leave after the initial shock, you drop, you cover, you hold, and then you proceed to the nearest exit and you go to the assembly point. You go to the assembly point so a head count can be taken, so that the members of staff who are at work, the visitors, and so on. That's why it's so important going into private offices or even government offices. There's always a log, like your name, who's the person who's coming into the building. That's very important, because after the impact and you have to go to the assembly point, you can do a register to find
opening ceremony and the launch, and kind of run through so people follow us in terms of what's happening and how they can get involved.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to encourage everybody to go onto Instagram and find out all the information about the various activities for the month of March. And in particular, on our Instagram page at DEM Barbados, you can find information. So on this Friday, from 10 a.m., we'll be at Folkestone Marine Park, where our director, Ms. Carrie Hines, will give an address. We also have our seated representative, Ms. Alison Broom, as one of the featured speakers. And of course, there will be some DJ music, a cultural presentation to keep that morning lively. And there'll be a dissemination of information and flyers. So we're encouraging people to come out, and that is on Friday. And then you can follow us, as I said, online to have a better understanding of the different activities throughout the month of March. But we're really trying to get everyone to come out on Friday, March 1st, for the start of this very important month of activities.
Absolutely. We'll continue to share. And you guys also are going to be out and about in the community.
That's right.
Just distributing some much needed paraphernalia. And that's a great way for people to be able to get their reminders, kind of in the face.
Exactly. So we'll be doing, of course, the community walkthroughs and so on, but we also have the carb wave exercise, which will be later on in the month of March. But for sure, we want to get all the engagement of persons as it relates to being earthquake smart, as we say. We realize that when people don't have the information, they panic. We've had situations where persons try to jump through windows when the earthquake starts. You don't have to do anything that extreme. wants you to know how to respond during an earthquake. And for those persons in the coastal areas, we want you to be aware of the evacuation routes leading from the coast further inland, because it's important that after the earthquake, that there's a possibility of a tsunami. And there are certain signs that you can see, whether it's the sea receding back an unusual distance, you're hearing a strange roar of the sea, and you're in the coastal area, whether working or so on or at school, that is when you're supposed to run to higher ground and run further inland.
And note that he said run. I
Not drive.
also note that you said don't jump in your car. On any given day, we can't get out of Bridgetown all at once.
Exactly.
So if there's a disaster, just know. And there's so many other things that go along with that. If we go back to the very first earthquake that we experienced, well, I have to say, me personally, while at work, everybody got on the phone at once.
Network went down. It was overwhelmed, the network.
All of a sudden,
yes,
you couldn't get through to anybody.
That's right.
You couldn't hear anyone. And in that instance, I remembered, oops, who's on air? But that's another story. So, you know, even that, we really have to plan for.
Of course.
Because people are then going to be tuning in, like, what is going on? And they want to hear what's happening through the media.
That's right. And it shows
so everybody
the power.
has the plan.
Yes, it shows the power of radio and as well as television. And we know that CBC is one of our partners as well, so that if something happens, we can get the message out there. And the thing about it is that we live in an age, an information age, where there's a lot of fake news out there as well. So we always encourage persons to get the information from credible sources, namely CBC and GIS, who would put notices through CBC to get to the public. So it's very important, and you guys have a major role to play in terms of public awareness.
All right. Thank you so much, Simon. As I mentioned, great to see you.
Good to see
you. It's
you
wonderful that you're here to tell us about everything that's coming. So we want to shake up your morning routine. We're going to tell you all about how you can join the DEM for the earthquake simulation. Set your alarms for Friday, March 8th, 10 a.m., and they're going to test the earthquake procedures across Barbados. We're going to make sure we shake it up for you as well. But of course, we want you to join the DEM and the Coastal Zone Management Unit for an unforgettable event at Folkestone Marine Park, Old Town, Friday, March 1st. That's this Friday. It's March already, people.
It sure
I'm
is.
trying to catch up. From 10 to 2, and Folkestone is just gorgeous. So go on down with your swimsuit and just get ready to dive in for a day of activity, excitement, and of course, education as well. So be tsunami ready. Make sure that you are earthquake smart. Know your environment. That's very, very important. And most importantly, have a plan.
That's it.
Have a plan. All right, we're going to take another break. Simon is going to stick around. He's going to go look around and see all the amazing things and great deals available here at Standard, and see if there's anything that he can pick up to help him with getting prepared. Who knows? There's so much here. Hey, we're going to take another break and come back. There's so much more to come on Morning Barbados. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Every year, millions of children die from causes that are preventable and treatable. Scary, right? It's a songbird Nikita, mom of 2 young boys, Knox and Noah. And rates of immunization have been backsliding to their lowest levels in the last 3 decades, which means that children are missing out on routine vaccines that can help keep them safe from deadly diseases like measles, mumps, polio, and even tetanus. I want to encourage every mom and dad out there to give your child the opportunity to live a healthy life, one that they will not only survive, but thrive. Protect your child as I protect mine.
Hello, good day. My name is Dr. Diane Braffett. I'm the Clinical Director at the Barbados Diabetes Foundation and also the lead consultant at the Diabetes Clinic. My tip for the week is plan it. And what do I mean by plan it? If you think about it realistically, we all live very, very busy lives. And if you take the time to plan your meals and nutrition over the coming week, you'll find that you'll actually eat healthier meals, spend less money, and they'll probably actually taste a lot better. So what exactly do I mean by plan it? Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna buy? Where are you gonna shop? What about your budget? When are you gonna cook food? Maybe when you're gonna prepare snacks for maybe the kids in the week. Take this cantaloupe for example. There's so many things that I can do with this. I could actually use this to make an unsweetened natural juice. Maybe hit it with a twist of lime. I can also cut it up and just eat it as fresh fruit. Maybe I can actually make a smoothie with it, with yogurt. You know what else I love to put cantaloupe in? Salad. Or how about using it as a chutney, a pickle, add it to meats. There's just so much stuff that you can do with just the simple things that you can buy. So remember, the health of our children matters. What you put in is what you get out. So plan your best life today.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to another Morning Barbados presentation. It's sun with a vengeance today, but I'm not complaining, and you shouldn't complain either, because it's wonderful that we have this great weather. Help me welcome Dr. Dolores Lewis, who is Distinguished Governor for Eastern Canada and the Caribbean District of Kiwanis and Kiwanis International, and she's chair of the Young Children Priority 1 Committee. And she's also brought along Jean Long Manteuffel, who is past governor of Wisconsin, Michigan, USA District of Kiwanis International. Quite a mouthful, but good morning and welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
Good to have both of you with us. Now, I'm going to start over here with our Barbadian lady and offer some congratulations at the very beginning for being the very first governor from Barbados. So talk to me a little bit about what it means to have this, to have accomplished this amazing feat.
Well, I was very excited about it because we have just celebrated 50 years of Kiwanis in Barbados, having started the first club called the Kiwanis Club of Bridgetown in September of 1974. So we're all excited of the fact that we did get a district governor from Barbados. We're a very small island, and when you go into competition for voting for governors, as you know, we would probably have a couple of votes as compared to all of the other countries, because Eastern Canada and the Caribbean is a district which includes 15 Caribbean countries and 7 provinces in Canada. So that's the area as district governor at the time that I would be in charge of. And that's about 7,000 members and about 285 clubs. So it's a huge district. So coming from a small country like Barbados, it is really kind of difficult to go into those positions. But I was excited to do it because what I really wanted to do is set the stage for the ones coming behind me to let them know that it can be done.
All right, and it certainly has been done. You are here, and you don't just become district governor. As I understand it, you have to do a little bit of training. So you guys got together maybe, and then there was a special lady, I'm not saying who yet, in your class, but some type of conversation ensued, and here we are. So I'm going to let you tell that story too and set the tone.
Okay, well, prior to you becoming a district governor, you have to go actually to training. There are 50 governors in any one year, representing 85 different countries around the world. So you go for an intense week of training. And during that period, because you're so many governors, they divide you into regions. and they happened to put the Caribbean region in the same area with Wisconsin, Michigan. And that is how I met Jean. She was one of my colleagues for that week in the small region of about 5 governors.
Oh, that's excellent. And then, of course, Jean asked you a question that sparked much of this. Where should I go in the Caribbean? And of course, your answer was, there's nowhere else to go but Barbados. That's
So
how it
here
played
I am.
out, yes? So here you are to tell us about a program that you're hoping to be able to launch here in Barbados, or not hoping to.
I was going to say.
It's happening.
It's happening. So as governor in Wisconsin and Upper Michigan, our history is that the governor gets to pick a project that all the clubs participate in. So I have 114 clubs in my area, and generally they contribute to some project the governor has, a swimming pool maybe for a camp for kids with disabilities, something like that. So we were the pandemic governors. There was no going anywhere asking people to send money for anything. So I was looking for a project that was fun, has to be fun, was inexpensive, that we could do in our own communities, and that would help build community. And most importantly, it had to benefit children, because that's what Kiwanis does. So I had absolutely no ideas. I reached out to a friend of mine. His name is Leroy Butler, and he is a National Football League player in the United States and just got inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His answer was, I said, what do you have any ideas? This is what I want to do. And he said, cops and kids. I'm like, cops and kids, what's that? And he said, go do your homework, Jean. So I did. I went and learned about cops and kids. It was started by a police officer in Racine, which is in the Milwaukee area, and is police officers reading books to kids. And so we took that on, tried to put Kiwanis in the picture. We're good at organizing things. Kiwanis organizes things and has the funds to help. The police officers don't have time to do that type of thing. So we started a program called Kiwanis and Cops and Kids. And the Kiwanians organize it with like local schools or local daycare centers. And then the police officers come in, read books to the kids, and help build community and get some interaction. And we give out free books. So our goal is to get free books in the hands of kids. And then also to help build that community trust in law enforcement.
Oh, what a wonderful idea. And you're going to get things kicked off in just a matter of hours. Today is the 28th. I believe you start tomorrow.
Yes, we're starting tomorrow at one of the government day nurseries where we'll kick off this program. And I was able to get agreement and permission from the Barbados Police Service. So we will have a person from the service who will be actually reading to the children. And what we really want to do is we're promoting childhood literacy. So starting at a very early age to promote literacy, to pique their interest in books and reading. And we thought that that combination would be great because at the same time, the kids are learning to read or to listen to stories, piques their imagination, and at the same time seeing our police service officers in a different light and as part of the community of the children. So it's not only a good project for like the day nurseries where we're actually starting with young children, but it will also be a great community project. And I'm hoping that this project will extend out into communities as well, where we show this relationship between literacy. As you know, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to promote literacy. It's a team, and everybody should be part of that team to promote literacy. And I thought it was a great idea.
I'm so happy you talked about building that connection between the community and police officers, because for many children, particularly children in most vulnerable and inner city areas, the way that they see police officers is just always in, dare I say, a combative type of way, as in enforcing law. To be able to engage with them in this way can impact them in ways that we can't even dream for the future. So talk to us about how impactful the program has been in other places, and we most certainly look forward to all that will happen here in Barbados. But it's always good to share the successes as you go on?
So I had mentioned that it was started in Racine by a police officer, Miss Julia Witherspoon. And in Racine, they have a building they actually have kids come to, and it's an after-school program. But through Kiwanis, we've been able to reach out to a lot of communities. The Kiwanis governor of Florida took it on as her district project last year and promoted it. Right now, we're in about 100 communities that we have this program. And it's really a lot of fun, and the kids love it. They love, first they're a little hesitant around the police officers when they see them, but 3 minutes later they're laughing and having fun and creating that relationship, which is what I love about it, is getting the officers an opportunity to also build a relationship with the kids. Kids are intimidating. and it's a lot of fun to do the project, but it's also pretty, there's no stress to it. It's just a nice relaxing time, reading a book, sharing stories, and giving the kids the books.
And the flip side of that, putting literacy at the forefront of what we do. Each child participating in the program will not walk away with an empty hand. Tell us about that.
Oh yes, each child that participates in the program will go home with a free book, which will be provided by the club. And we're so fortunate in Barbados because Jean has actually brought over the books that we are going to be giving out to the kids tomorrow.
Thank you, Jean.
And we should have about 40 kids who will actually benefit from having a free book and actually meeting a police officer in uniform who will be reading to them. And I think they're going to be excited about that.
I agree. It's a wonderful initiative, and we will certainly look forward to hearing more about it. For me, when I think about kind of bringing literacy back, unfortunately, I don't think reading holds the place that it did just maybe a few years ago. And with programs like these, they can only augur well for the youth and for community at large to be able to do that. And I know that initiatives like this, as you mentioned before, mean a lot to Kiwanis because you look after children.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, anything to add in terms of where you expect the program to go? I know you have big hopes for the program here in Barbados, and I'm feeling the pressure already because we want to surpass anything else that's been done in Michigan or wherever else it was.
Go for it.
We're going for it.
Well, I actually would like to see the program. It could be done anywhere. It could be done in the day nurseries. It could be done in the primary schools. And we look after kids, the welfare and development of children from this particular committee from 0 to 5, but we go from 5 to 18. And I am visualizing this program actually going into communities in Barbados, to a community center where we could gather some kids in a particular locale and do the reading to them, pique their interest in reading, and then leave a free book with them. And that starts their library in terms of having access to books. And you need to start very early to try to get them to appreciate turning the pages of a book instead of looking at an iPad. So we're hoping that this will stimulate their interest in actually reading and see how they can discover the world. And most importantly, I hope you realize that literacy starts from birth. You want to promote reading as early as birth, 0 to 6 months and on. And actually, there are programs that will teach you how to read to your child at different ages, like 0 to 12. And you can find a selection of books that will be available for that age group. And then you go 13 months to 18 months. You start from day one. And we call that like a pre-literacy program for young babies. And if you start it, you start building your child's library from 0. So it's not a thing just for 3-year-olds or 5-year-olds, but you start at the beginning, and if you start early, it assists with childhood development. It helps them to develop their language skills, to hear words. And in fact, if you read to your child from 0 at birth to 5 years, a book every day, they would have heard almost 1 million words by the time they're 5 years old. And just think what that does to their vocabulary and their language skills. So that's the importance of starting early. So it's never too early to promote literacy or to start reading to your child.
Absolutely. I want to thank you, governors, for coming in and sharing with us. And I hope that you get in a little bit of Barbados outside of the work that you're doing with Kiwanis International.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And we look forward to sharing a lot more with you, Doctor, as you come through and talk more about all the programs that are happening with Kiwanis International. Remember, it's being launched tomorrow officially. Kiwanis and cops and kids and the children participating in the program walk away with a book.
Yes.
Very, very beautiful program. I think it will all go well for the future. So thank you both once again.
And thank you for having us.
Of course, make sure you look out for that program and ask how your school, how your institution can be a part of it, or how you can contribute generally. Kiwanis won't turn you away.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We're going to take another break and come back as we prepare to wrap up today's sunny edition of Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey guys, my name is John Yard and I'm the father to an amazing 3-year-old little boy. He'd say it like this: my name is Malachi John Yard. And Malachi, he's a super adventurous little boy. He loves to explore, he loves to have a great time, and it's my responsibility to facilitate such. One of the things that I do is ensure that the spaces where he's around, that they're safe from danger and harm. As a father, I also recognize that there's some things and some threats to his own safety as a child that we can't see with our physical eyes. That's why we believe in vaccinations as a family. I want my son, my adventurous little boy, to be as adventurous and as curious in this world as he possibly can, safely. We believe that DPT vaccination safeguards our son from tetanus, from diphtheria, and so many other viruses that are out there. My parents did it for me, I'm doing it for my son, and I really hope that you do it for yours. God bless you.
I am Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. Selecting water instead of commercial juice drinks or sweet drinks or sodas is recommended with meals and with snacks. Parents are advised to choose alternatives. Avoid drinks where the first 2 ingredients on the back label are water and a type of sugar. The high frequent consumption of sugar contributes to developing overweight and obesity in your child.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mahalia from Mahalia's Corner and the band to Mile Hill. I'm about to become a mommy for the very first time, and I know there's so much that I can't control as my baby grows up. And while that's the truth for all parents, there are some things we can do to help set up our little ones for a long and healthy life. And one of those things is making sure that they're immunized against deadly but preventable diseases like polio, rubella, and mumps. Things like measles have been made.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. I'm wondering if you had your breakfast already. Maybe I'll get a little poetry to get you going if you feel like, oh, today is one of those days. I know we all have them. So hopefully we'll give you a little motivation with this next story. We're joined now by Ashley Cyrier, who is a spoken word artist, but she's into the arts in more ways than one: singing, acting, dancing, just about everything. She's kind of had her hand in every pie. So welcome, Ashley. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to us about your journey in the arts.
Oh, wow. Well, I like to believe that I was probably a part of the arts from the time I gained consciousness as a person. There was not a point in my life where I did not like performing. From nursery, it started off with singing. My parents thought that I had a natural talent for it. Everybody thought that I had a natural talent for it. I just thought that I was a little girl who could hold a note, but I took it a little further down to primary school, was invested into the choir, became a choir director at some point in time, performed live outside of school, got to meet a whole bunch of people who helped me perfect my craft as well. And then theater became a love of mine at the law school from third form. And from then I found joy in writing, actually, which is how I started getting into poetry, because I found myself getting inspired by just the slightest things. If it was just maybe an argument in town, or maybe like if I was just decide to get up one day and just write about something, you know. But I never actually started performing poetry up until 2 years ago. But from little girl to now, I had been acting, BCC, Lodge. I have been acting outside, helping UE students with portfolio. I did my first short film back when I was about 15 years old, Beneath the Dock. I participated with the NCF, working backstage. So not only do I have experience on stage, but off stage as well. So as far as I know, arts has been pretty much my home, away from home.
That's beautiful. One thing that stays with me is you said writing was kind of your go-to thing. When did you discover that, and how did it unfold?
Well, I guess I like to think of myself as the voice in people's heads, really. There's a lot of things that people don't like to talk about outward because they might be afraid. And while I was at secondary school, I found myself wanting an escape. But I wanted an escape for me. I didn't just want it to be on stage with other people. And that's when I went online and I heard all about this journaling kind of thing. And I decided to give it a try. But the way that I went about it was I didn't just want to write about my day. I wanted to write a story. And that's when I wrote my first piece called Boomerang. That was possibly one of the longest pieces that I've ever written, because I didn't actually complete it until maybe 2020. So alongside that, I found myself just writing more and more and more about different experiences, and not just mine, but others as well. Whether if it was a friend that told me something that they were going through, I was like, well, this is something that I can write about to maybe push this kind of story, you know. But yeah, it was mainly just as an escape for me personally.
Oh, that's beautiful. What was it like, the transition from putting your personal thoughts and feelings down on paper, as you put it, in the confines of your home, and then getting on a stage 2 years ago and sharing this with the world?
It was difficult and nerve-wracking, to say the least. The first piece that I ever performed was Boomerang, and I did not know how anybody would take it at all. I was like, I've heard all of these other spoken word artists, and I hear them using all of these big words and talking about all of this stuff, and I'm like, I'm really just talking about me just experiencing heartbreak over and over again. Maybe nobody might take this the way that they should, but the response was outstanding. Like, I had some people come up to me and say, I never really thought about having a boomerang heart, you know, like throwing your heart out there and then it just comes right back at you without warning. So I thought as once I got past that first obstacle, it has become easier from there. But it was not, in terms of performing itself, it wasn't difficult because, again, I am no stranger to the stage, but putting my own personal work on the stage was what I really had to overcome.
Now you're part of the poetry presentation, so you're an expert of sorts because you're past that first presentation and now you feel more at home on the stage, I would imagine. So what do you feel participating in this way will do for you, where there are other people of a similar nature, people who are writing and performing the way that you do and what you've seen over time, or sharing the stage with you?
I am hoping that everyone there just understands that they're not alone in this. When Lashana first asked me to perform, I was afraid, not gonna lie, because she told me the other artists, people who I would have seen perform live, and I was like, so what do you want me? But then she was like, no, I've heard you perform and you need to do this. You need to do this. And I was like, okay, no problem, I'll give it a try. And to be quite honest, when we're in the rehearsal space, it does not feel like you're an outsider. You actually feel it if you're a part of a community, which is why I'm glad she's doing this, because spoken word artists don't necessarily have a home. And the fact that she has made the space so comfortable for us to be able to express ourselves freely, the way that she wants to push poetry in Barbados is absolutely amazing. And I am so happy to be a part of that.
That's wonderful stuff. Of course, you can catch them for poetry. Make sure you come on out and celebrate and be a part of it. And we talked all morning long about women kind of sending the elevator all the way back down. And that is what Lashana is doing. The event features Ariel Hamilton, Ray Wright, Cher Antoinette, Daniel Boxall, Mike Cron Robinson. You are going to be there. So Jay, you go as Jay Sirier, Zoe Sunshine, Safia, Malachi. It's going to be an amazing event. And it happens tomorrow at 8 o'clock at Sage Bar in Maxwell. So support them and come on out and be a part of it. Thanks for sharing with us, Jay.
Ashley. Ashley is my name. Jay is my cousin. So it's two Siriers.
So they're two Siriers?
Yeah.
So Jay is not your stage name?
No.
So you're going by Ashley Sirier and there's a Jay Sirier too?
Yep.
So it runs in the family, people. And with a surname like Sirier, you can't miss out.
Can't miss
Have
it.
to say their family. How about that? Good stuff. So come on out and support them tomorrow at Sage Bar, all right? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time to wrap things up for today. So stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hi folks, it's Natalie Burke. Y'all remember when we used to have to line up at primary school with our uniform sleeves rolled up so the nurses could give us the injection? Or that bad tasting drop of red liquid that they used to give us with a sugar cube to kill the taste? Wanna know just what I'm talking about? Those are our childhood memories. But while memories were being made, we were actually getting protection. Protection from illnesses and diseases like measles, mumps, rubella, and polio that could make us very sick or potentially kill us. Nowadays, there has been a noticeable decrease in the numbers of children being immunized. Why deny them a chance to be well or even to live? Come on, parents and guardians, step up for your children. Get them immunized and keep up with the immunization schedule. Stop lying and get your children protected starting today.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so it's time for a little bit of social media buzz. We are going to tell you about a lady known by the name of the Travel Mom, and she surprised one lucky person on the Kelly Clarkson show with a dream getaway to Barbados.
Hello, so you went on a girls trip recently, right?
I did. I just got back from an ultimate girls trip with my sister Stephanie. It's rare that we get the opportunity to be alone together.
Yeah.
And we visited a place that is simply beautiful. The people are wonderful, and it's home to Rihanna.
Oh, Barbados.
Barbados.
I love
And
Barbados.
Barbados is simply magnificent. There's so many gorgeous beaches and sights to see, but my favorite way to experience Barbados is on the water. And I did a catamaran sail with Cool Runnings catamarans, where, you know me, I don't just go to a place, I have to immerse myself in it. So naturally, I jumped in off of the boat.
As you should.
And had an absolute time.
Look at that water.
It was so inviting.
Look at that dive.
Thank you. I was a diver when I was 14.
I was like, I noticed that dive, ma'am.
Thank you. I pointed my toes on the entry
Look at
for
you.
sure. We also visited Harrison's Cave, which is a world-famous cave that you don't think you're going to Barbados, you're going to see a cave, but we did
I was
that.
in Barbados and I did not know that was there.
Well, you need to go back with me.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that would be a
That's
fun thing for us to do. I also recommend an all-inclusive resort when you're going to Barbados. I stayed at O2, which is a luxurious oceanfront all-inclusive resort, which means your meals, your accommodations, your alcoholic beverages.
Go ahead.
So Barbados is a fantastic place for a girl's getaway.
Heck yeah. Anybody here interested in a Barbados trip? Well, we are sending someone on a 5-night island getaway for 2 to the all-inclusive O2 Beach Club and Spa located on the beautiful south coast of Barbados. It's wonderful. Oh my God, look at that picture. Why are we here? You'll experience breathtaking accommodations, 5-star dining, a trio of swimming pools, a luxurious spa, and an array of on-site activities. Here's how this works, everybody. You look at that monitor, that giant monitor. Our cameras are going to scan the audience. If your face shows up on the screen, you are headed to Barbados. Are you ready?
All right, so beautiful stuff. So congratulations to that lady. She will be right here in Barbados. And a big shout out to everybody at O2. You are in the center of everything. We want to thank you for sharing with us today. Of course, I started with my purple as we look toward celebrating women. You know, it's not marches yet. Tomorrow we get an extra day in February, so year February 29th. So we're going to be celebrating those people who celebrate their birthday on the 29th. You know, you usually have to celebrate the day before or the day after, but this year you get your birthday on the day. So we're going to be celebrating that tomorrow and a whole lot more. And we're still going to be live here from Standard. Remember, we're still encouraging you to send in a snapshot, a picture of that special room that you want redone or upgraded. You get a chance to come in with all the experts here at Standard, and they're going to help you make that room look the amazing way you want it to look. Remember to wear your smiles today. Do something great for somebody, and come on back tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye from the team.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning.